Okay, I've seen record. Okay, I'm recording. So as I said before, Ms. Vic is a student of Zuri, and she's also doing a training with Coursera, sponsored by Google. So it's a scholarship that she's doing also on UX UI. So Ms. Vic meets our study group. Meets Ms. Vic.
Okay, hello everybody. Please, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ms. Vic.
Okay, all right. So nice to meet you guys. My name is Victoria, so everybody calls me Miss Vic. So I'll just go straight to the point. First of all, I would like to know what you guys roadblocks are, so I know what areas I should focus on. I don't want to just ramble around.
Start at the beginning. Ramble.
So far, you've done.
We have 1 hour.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So we know that our taxes is about lo-fi, hi-fi, and all that stuff. So I would first want to talk about the difference between a lo-fi and an hi-fi, a low fidelity and an high fidelity prototype. So I'm just going to give me a minute, please. Yes. Did I even say that thing? Okay. So just need to share a disclaimer before we start. So whatever it is you see me do is not an absolute, like JC has already said, I'm also a fellow student. And so whatever it is that I'm sharing is based on my journey so far in understanding all these concepts. So if you feel that I'm making an error in one way or the other, please feel free and be confident to point me out. So we are here to learn together, we're learning to share knowledge together. I hope that's clear.
Awesome. Received.
Okay. There's actually an article I'm trying to get that really helped me understand the difference between low fidelity and high fidelity prototype. But because of time, so that we can have a lot of time to cover up all this we need to cover up, so I'll just go to the easiest point. Okay, so basically low fidelity prototype is consists of both your sketches and your wireframes. So we've already done our sketches. I wish this had. We already done our sketches, so we are required to do our wireframes. Most of us definitely we probably have done wireframes for sketches, which is common. It's actually a common mistake that we designers make, to confuse sketches with digital era where everything is, you can do it online, you can use paint to sketch. But even with that regard, you can use your mirror board to do a pencil sketch. A sketch would not have text, would not have defined elements. When I mean by defined elements, I mean you won't need to align, for example, your buttons. You just want to have rumble an idea basically on how your user interface or your user flow is going to be like. So that's how sketches are. For wireframes, you have to align your work. You have to align all your elements. So you're aligning your icons to your buttons to your box, your shapes. You're not going to define, at this stage, you're not really defining any font type. You're not really doing, it's not compulsory to do hierarchy with your typography. If you can, that's fine. But the idea behind lo-fi prototyping is to build or design a skeleton of of what you intend to design, of what your design would look like. Like we know from biology how skeletons are, you have labels. So they don't really appeal to your beauty, to the beauty of anything. There's no aesthetic to it. It's not attractive. But when you see it, you should be able to have an idea of what that product, whether it's web product or mobile product, what that product is trying to communicate to you, or what that product is going to do if you use it. So for iFi, you simply just base off your lo-fi. You determine your colors, you determine your typography hierarchy, you determine your alignment, and especially your grid system. From your lo-fi prototype, you definitely would have defined what grid you want to use. Now let me just slow down a bit and explain what grid system or grid layout is all about, because that is actually what brings out the beauty of your design. If your work is not properly aligned, like Mike Essien once said, if you're not, if you're a user, or if you're a UX designer, or you're a UX designer that can't achieve pixel perfect, sorry, you're not doing your work, because you're also going to affect the engineers that are going to code your work. Your work has to align. Alignment brings out the beauty of whatever it is you're designing. So the idea behind lots of grid system, grid layout, there's the material design, there's a lot. So, but the most common one is the I would say geometric projection, where you do the 8 pixel. So whatever you do, your spacing and your alignment will be in multiples of 8. That's what that is. It's similar to the grid system for Bootstrap. I don't know if you've heard of Bootstrap before. If you are friends with front end guys, you probably be hearing them talk about Bootstrap and all of that. So that's a grid system for Bootstrap. There's a grid system from material design. The idea behind grid system is to help you build responsive platforms that is adaptable on all devices. So you can imagine now that if your design is not well aligned, how would you imagine that someone that's using a Palasa phone, for example, maybe an old Android phone, view your web page compared to someone that wants to view a web page on a website or on a laptop, sorry. So that's the reason why grid system is very important. So you have to define your grid system even before starting your lo-fi. You need to define your grid. For me personally, because I find it convenient, I use the 8 pixel grid. So I know that for my spacing and for my alignment, it's a multiple projection of 8. I hope this is clear. I hope you guys are still with me.
Yeah, we're with you. Can you explain further on the multiple projection of 8?
Okay, so let me just open something that I've been working on. So that you can practically see what it looks like. So my internet is a bit slow, as it's taking a while to load. Okay, anyways, multiples of a geometric projection of 8 means that for every spacing you are moving at 8 pixels per time or per move. So you can do 8 pixels, 16 pixels, 32 pixels, 64 pixels, 128 pixels. So it's a multiple projection of 8. So you can't start a design now. Uh, okay, let me use this. So this is one of my daily UX. Can you guys
Yes, we can see it
still see my screen?
very clearly. Go ahead. You
Okay.
can see it.
Design. Yeah. Sorry, the internet is fluctuating. So this is a mobile. This is a mobile checkout page for an online store. So I'll just show you my grid system. So on Figma, this is where you find your grid. This is where you define your grid. So you click on your frame, and then there's this grid layout there. So you click on it and define your frame. Most of the times we use columns. Some people use grid, depending on what product you're designing. For example, if you want to design if you want to design an illustration, maybe an animation, you want to design a portrait of, all these illustrations or anime, we use grid. So you are moving per pixel. That's what that grid is. So for columns, you're, let me increase it so that you can see how it's appearing on that frame. So you see those gray stuff on the frame, on this phone frame. These are my grid, and everything I design is contained within that grid. Do you guys get it? So I'm using a bootstrap grid system for this space. So so now for the 8 points, between these elements, these other details elements, and these elements, you can see that the spacing there is 32, multiples of 8. U is, okay, let me do this. Okay, this is an error. Can see there's consistency in my design. There is another 32 spacing here. There's another 32 spacing here between my elements. Okay, and this is another 32 spacing between my. So there's a lot of decision making lo-fi stage, and then your iFi, and then your final design. Some of the decisions you need to make. Number one, your layout. How do you want the user flow to look like? You can see on this simple checkout page, it's a simple checkout page. The user will not even feel that there are 3 screens, basically. But you as a designer, you know that you have to display the user flow. So from the point of the user seeing the product and add to cart, then they can confirm their orders and then check out. They make their payment and pay. Something that probably will take them more than 3 minutes to do will probably take you like 6 hours to design. So you need to decide on your grid what layout works for your design. And to do that, you have to search, you have to study. Google is my friend. I Google literally everything. So I go on Google, I read about the different grid layout there is depending on the type of product you want to build. The grid layout for a web page is different from the grid layout for a mobile. So these are the things you need to take into consideration. And also you need to make sure that your web, especially your web page, is mobile responsive. That is, whatever it is you are designing on your web can also be viewed on the mobile without any glitch. Every element can easily collide or be compressed into a very beautiful user flow. So those are the things you need to think about. Then secondly, your font. What font choice? There are different.
I have a question.
Let me go to Typescape. I use on my typography. Typescape is a very good platform for deciding on your typo hierarchy. So
Vicky, I get question.
yeah.
Yeah, I get question. How did the multiples of 8 play out in this design now? The one you are presently.
Okay. So let me just go back to Figma. Okay, I showed that initially, or let me just go to a tinier space so that you can see it. So this is my UI element credit card. Between the space between my first UI element credit card and my second UI element debit card is my laptop is angry. Okay, it's 16 pixels. So you know 16 is a multiple of 8, yeah? So everything I do on this frame, from my spacing to my alignment. Anyways, I already sorted out my alignment on my grid layout. That's what I used. This, let me select it again, just a minute. So my grid layout was defined, and I initially said I'm using the Bootstrap grid system. So the Bootstrap grid system gives you all this information. You don't need to really think too much about it. Just impute the values you see on their platform. You get and follow it there. Let me just go to the website for you guys. Maybe after this session, I will send you links to all these websites so that you can familiarize yourself with all
What
the
is the Bootstrap
information.
system?
So Bootstrap system is they move as they align your elements at 24 pixels maximum away from the fit all your elements within your device from at 24 pixels away from the edge of the device. That's how I can explain it. So this is an example. The highest is 24, but I could play around 70, 80. So this 70 is the width of my the width where is the space now between where my elements would sit. So when you're dividing your frame, for example, I divided my frame into 4 columns. These are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. The spacing between each column is at 20, like about 24 pixels. That 20 to 24 pixels. That's what Bootstrap layout states. Material design layout states that your spacing between your columns will be 16 pixels. So it just helps you to arrange. The idea of grid and layout is just help you to place your elements in the right positions. So you are not, so it's not difficult for the users to navigate, and it gives a more enjoyable user experience. They can easily find their way around. If all my designs are looking all wobbly, okay, this one is up here. I don't know why my internet is slow. This one is too close to here, and this is too far apart. Okay, and then probably this one is nowhere to be found. It doesn't just make sense. Or if they're all too close to each other. I'm sure you've been hearing senior developer and senior designers saying, let your design breathe. This doesn't make sense. So the idea behind grid system and layout and spacing is to make your design breathe. Make it look easy on the eyes. I come here now and I want to check out. I'm seeing like as if something is wrong on the app. Why does it look glitchy? It doesn't look glitchy. Designer did not space the element. That's literally the downside to not working with, layout and spacing. So now let me rearrange it back. So I have to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. So I have to align this back to there, to this point. And see, Figma has a way of helping you to know where your elements sit. There are these guides that shows up when you move your elements within your grid. So, and then it tells me how far I am between to the next element. So that's just the beauty of design softwares like this. So I want to place this, and since my spacing is, I'm working with an 8-point spacing system, I would hold Alt on my keyboard, okay, and use Shift up to move my element till it gets to the point I need it to be. So if I put it at 8 pixel, well, it looks okay, but my design isn't breathing well. Okay, so I'll go to the next multiple of 8. Hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to do. I put it at 8 pixel, but from the look of things, it's too close. It's too close to the headline. So I go back again and move another 8 pixel downward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's 16. So multiples of 8 is what I'm working with when it comes to my spacing. That's the idea behind working with your 8 pixel grid for your spacings. So I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yeah. So is 8 like a must? Can 10 be used? Can 5 be used? Can 6?
Okay, so this is the thing. This is the thing. If you use 10, the idea behind using even numbers is so that when you divide, or when you
sorry.
adaptable to all devices.
Please, can you repeat? The network went off. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Oh, okay. So the idea behind using even numbers for your grid system, the adaptability on all devices. The odd numbers can work, but 8, 4, 2, 4, 8, even numbers, for web 12. You can use 8, you can use 12, you can use, but mostly even numbers. The reason why I use 8 as my example here is because it's the most common on, and it's easily adaptable on all devices. Your space, whatever you even want to adjust, whenever when you are trying to make your design responsive on all the most squares are in even numbers most of the time. If you design your squares in odd numbers, fine, and you're using odd number for your layout, that's where you have glitches with your engineers if they decide to code your product. So that's as simple as I can explain it. But basically, I really don't think as a beginner you should be giving yourself edits. Start with what is most common. Then as you grow, you can now freestyle and try other things. But for a beginner, look at the things that are industry standard and use it to build yourself first. So industry standard 8 pixel, you can use 12, you can use 10, fine. So the most important thing for a beginner is build yourself with basic standard. Then fine, when you get the hand of all these concepts, because there are actually a lot. When you get your hand of all these concepts, then you can now take a breather and freestyle, or you want to try with odd numbers and all of that. Hope I'm able to answer that question.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
So where did you get the pictures from?
What pictures?
The ones you are moving around now.
Okay. So I use Pixels or Unsplash. Unsplash is a great place to get royalty-free images for your designs. You can
You say Splash?
Unsplash, Splash.
Can you write a description
Unsplash.
on the chat so we can copy it?
All right, I'll do that.
So on Splash, did you see what was the picture combined with the writings? Because, for example, the one you highlighted now, foaming facial cleaner. So how did it? I know you got the picture of Sarah V from on Splash. So this foaming facial cleanser, how did you get this? Did you just write it, or did you graphically edit it to match together? Okay, thank you. We have seen it. So how did you do that?
Okay. Okay, so this is a different element on its own. So let me just close this so you can see. So this is where I imputed the image. So what I did first was to create an image place, a shape where I'll just demonstrate it so that you can see what I did there. So I created a shape like this now and change this to image. Then click on choose image and choose the image that you want to put there. Okay, so this one. The exact picture so that you can see, so that everything can come out the way it is. Okay, so something that just came to me that I should point out. So let me just be done with this and I'll talk about it. How to remove background from your images if you just want to use only the image without the background. Yeah. Okay, let me use this. So the image loads in on its own, and then there you have it. So that is exactly what I did for these guys here. So the form put separately. I clicked on my text icon, my text tool, and then typed what I want to type, adjusted it the way I want to adjust it. And when I was done, and every other element here, including this shape at the back, I grouped everything together to form a single element. Is that clear?
Okay, so you designed this shape at the back also that is a bit curvy, yeah?
Yes. Yes. So to get that curve, let me just show you.
What about
I
this Vista card?
had a particular dimension in mind that would fit. Yeah, the same thing I did. I created this shape, made the curve. This is where you can define your curve. That's corner radius. So most times use 32. So that's it. So I gave that gave me the radius that I want. So then I put in the element that I need to put in inside.
Okay, so this Jane Grey that has this Visa card logo. Did you get the Visa card logo from somewhere? Then you put it into your app, into your design.
Yes, yes, there are, yeah, there are resources. Yes, I did. So there are what they call icon packs. They have their plugins on Figma, and some you have to down you can go, and this particular one I use is from, I have some plugins installed on my system. So this way I go to find my plugin. I right click to come here to my plugins. So these are the list of all my plugins I use. So I use Iconify when I'm not sure what icon to use. I just go to Iconify. Just search it for it to load. This internet is very slow.
Okay. You were about to talk about icons.
Oh yeah. So I'll just drop the link though. I'll just drop the link to where you can remove background from your images. Just give me a minute.
Sorry, I said
Okay,
you
so
want to talk about what do you call it? Letter writing. I mean, what do you call that stuff? I don't forget. When you are through with this, you're about to talk about
typography.
typography. Yeah, typography.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
When you are through
So
with this,
this,
you can get there.
okay. So this is where I get my icons from. So you see that there are plenty, I think there are plenty. So you just have to decide which one fits the design that you want to do. So if you are not sure, it's always safe to just stick with design. In my opinion, no, in my own opinion, it's just safe to stick with material if you are not sure what icon pack to use. And it's very important to be consistent with your eye. You can't use icon for material design. You now go and use icon from use icon for because when you download the entire icon pack for this and then the design launch time suite, your icons be consistent with your font, be consistent with your spacing, be consistent with your colors, and you don't use more than two typefaces in your designs. That is the standard practice. Don't use more than two different ones. I will actually get to that. So I come here, brands and social, and then I go to SVG logos or Coral U, anyone you want, but most times I just go here. So I type MasterCard. So that's where I got it from. So
Okay, awesome.
the size of all your icons for mobile should be either 21 pixel or 24 pixels. Nothing. If your icons are too big, I mean, it's a phone. I don't want to be viewing too big icons. I'm sure you would have observed in a lot of existing designs that icons are not the biggest thing on the screen. So to adjust your icon, make sure that you turn on this tiny thing here, constrain proportions. So that's what it does. So that when you type in the size, it doesn't, if you don't do this, and then you want to change size, let me just show you what will happen. This is what will happen. So it's very important that you constrain proportion so that when you change the size, the figure in the for one, it reflects on the other. Mistake. So if you change for one, it reflects on the other. So, and this is what will happen. It's not going to look wobbly. It's going to be within the exact shape and feel. So your icons are either 21 pixel or 24 pixels. So let me get to typeface, typography, sorry. Then I would just give you a sneak peek into my tag 6 work so that you can have an idea of what to do. So this is where I was before. So if you to decide on what font to use, this gives you a visual display of how your fonts will feel on, when people view them on their phone or on their web pages. So there are different feelings that a font gives off. There are fonts that when you see it, you feel it's corporate. There are fonts that when you see it, you say, oh, this is too playful. So let me see. So playful display is a corporate looking. Let me put it here. I can see it very well. It's usually a corporate looking font. So imagine using playful display as your header and playful display as your body text. You feel like it will feel like as if you are visiting a Wikipedia, for example. But if you want something more relatable, you can choose okay, let me make this easier. So let's look at sans and sans serif. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just go here. This is disturbing me or just fonts.google.com. So I want to show you different feel to the font, to different fonts available in this universe. So personally for me, I'm a very lazy person, so I don't like stress. I just stick to simple things. I use Poppins, I use Open Sans, and then I use Ray Will. So if I want to do something corporate looking, I just stick to maybe Open Sans or Railway. Okay, thank God it's loading. I'm sorry, guys.
Miss Vic, is your screen hanging?
Yeah. Yes, it is. My internet is fluctuating.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we don't have much time. We have like less than 30 minutes. Maybe you can just show us an
All
example of
right.
your
Let
work.
me just, yeah, I am. Okay, so yeah, welcome to my workspace. So this is my iteration. Anyways, I only have to take it. So just let me show you what it's all about. So this is actually how my lo-fi looks like. It's very important that if you know that you're going to be repeating a particular element in your UI, you can make them a component. What do I mean by that? I mean that you create a particular element like a button, like this button now that I've created. And then you click here to make it a component. And then when you duplicate it, those duplicates are called instances. They're like children. And so the component is like the parents. So whatever you change in the parents will affect the children. But whatever you change in any of the child, it doesn't affect the parents. So that's just the convenience that you enjoy when you create components in your design. So you can always reuse that component. You can always, so in my lo-fi, because I know I was going to be using my particular buttons all through, I just made it a component. These are examples of components. So components usually have these icons by the top of them, so you know that's the component. So this is actually example of my lo-fi. Now let me show you how the I file looks like. So this is my i5.
Okay, so they're on the same link. They're on the same workspace, hi-fi and lo-fi.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
they're on
okay,
different pages. You can see that these are pages. They're on different pages, but it's the same link, it's the same file, it's the same Figma file.
okay, okay. So you can create different pages on one workspace.
All right, so this is the i5. Yeah, it's just one workspace. So this is the i5. See, I've added I've defined the social login, and I changed a few things. Did was to put a note so that I prototyped it. I set it up for feedback. People interact I used to improve on my i5. So if you still have time, it would be great to prototype your lo-fi, send it out, let your friends play around with it, let them tell you how they feel about it, and then use their feedback to improve on your i5. So, and that's actually what I did for mine. So if you notice, my i5 features are rearranged. It's the same thing, but they are rearranged. The buttons are more special. They contain more room compared to the previous. Let me just show you the previous lo-fi again, so you can understand the gist. So this was what I initially did, and I sent this out for feedback. So, okay, the users were like, okay, this is nice, but can this be better? Can this be better? Can this be better? So, well, this has disappeared. So, anyways, so when I got the feedback, I went back to my i5 and I implemented it. So, initially, the ideal though is to make the changes on your lo-fi and then have it reflected on your i5. But if you have the time, you can still do that. So, any questions, guys?
Right. If we have questions, we can ask if we have some questions. Miss Loretta, do you have any questions? Loretta.
I have a question, but I really can't even ask it right now. I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. I guess I will send it as a message if that's okay.
Okay, if you have
She's
questions,
not on our WhatsApp group, so she might not be able to. If we can ask it now, so she can get to it.
Okay,
I
one of
don't
my
mind
questions.
being on
One of
your
my
WhatsApp group so
questions
that I can
is
answer the question.
okay. Now that'll be great though, seriously, because I feel is when most times when you're practicing, when you start to do it, that's when you get confused. But I was gonna ask,
Exactly.
how did you get the icons into the same, like how did you move them? Like I know that Figma doesn't have so much icons, like the MasterCard was not, well, that wasn't from Figma, right? That was something you kind of imported into the page, right? Hello, did you get me? Oh my god, my network is back.
From
Miss
Figma,
Vic, did you get the
the
question?
plugin in Figma. So yes, I did. I did. I got the question.
Sorry, let me just get out of the car.
Let me just show it again.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. This is actually where I got the icons from. So there are plugins there are icons. Some of them is iconic. Why this is iconic.
Okay.
It seems her network is very bad. Oh.
Whose network? Mine or Miss Vic?
Miss Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has even logged out.
Oh my. I guess
Oh,
it's okay if we add her to the WhatsApp group so that way, because most of the time I have noticed that it's when you start to work, that's when you get stuck and you're like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And if you really don't have anybody to ask to help you out, then you're kind of stuck. So I don't know if she wants to, if it's okay for us to add her. It's left for you and Bolu to decide that
Yes,
though.
yes, please. Actually, I think I said that earlier. That JC, please add me to your group so that we can
oh, okay. We'll do that. We'll do that.
work through this together. A 1 hour session cannot be enough. And also, when you, like Loretta already said, when you get into it, you just realize that okay, I need help.
Yeah, Miss B, can I ask another question? This is something I'm kind of like struggling with right now.
Okay.
So, like, I'm working on the lo-fi, and then it's on a page. But is it possible to have the lo-fi and the hi-fi on the same page?
Yes,
Because we're kind of submitting the assignment on using the link.
yes.
But then it's like you have to now leave lo-fi and then go to another page and start the hi-fi. It's like you sending two different links. I'm thinking, is it possible for you to merge them together? And if it's possible, how do you
Yes.
do that? Do you kind of like switch the pages or you just do it underneath, or how does that work?
Okay, that's really cool. Good question. So I don't know if you guys can still see my screen. Let me just see if I can still share my screen. Okay, very good. You can share my screen. And Loretta, so see something by this side that I'm pointing my area. Okay, so this is a single file.
Yeah.
You can see that this is a single file. Now I could create pages in a single file. Add
Okay.
new page. So my low file and my I file are in the same Figma
Page.
document.
Okay.
Exactly. So since you already started with yours, this is what you can do. You go to that, let's say this particular place now is your low file. You go there and use your move tool to highlight the whole thing. Copy it and then paste it. So you use your move tool. Let me just demonstrate that so you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, waiting for this to load. So, okay, guys, this particular folder is not tax6, so please, it's actually a personal project I'm working on. So you can highlight the entire thing by moving that, your move to, you hold your mouse. If you're using a mouse, you hold your mouse left click to highlight. If you're using your pad, you also do the same. You hold the left click to highlight the whole thing. Okay. And then you Control C to copy. Control C as copied. Then you go back to this place, create a new page for your lo-fi. Okay, you label it lo-fi prototype. And then you can paste. Control V to paste. So you just give it some time, see it's pasting. So it moves everything you have on that file to this place. So you have it's everything on a single file. Is that clear, Loretta?
Yes, that helps. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay.
Yeah. So
Is
Ms. Vic,
anything
so
else
when you submit
outstanding?
this link, the person that is observing the work can see the different pages, right?
Exactly, yes, they can. So they can see this, they can easily navigate. And each, if you want to prototype your work, as in if you want to connect or to create a user flow, they can, each of the page has its own prototype feature. This is a prototype feature, yeah. That is a three, this is a different, this is a topic for another day entirely, how to prototype. I might not have to, because of time. So anyways, when the mentor or anybody have access to your file, they can actually navigate and then even view the prototype of your work.
Okay, awesome. So your work is prototyped already, right?
Only the low file, but I disconnected because I had to do some edits so that my consistency, because that's another aspect they are grading us on consistency. So my low file is not too different from my high file. So I had to remove the whole
Okay,
connection.
so you are grading on consistency as well, like how consistent you are from your low file to your high file.
Yeah, how consistency in terms of your high file reflecting your low file, consistency in your buttons, your elements that you use, consistency in your colors, consistency in your spacing, consistency in what else again? In your hierarchy. So for example,
Okay. Our time is almost up, so if we have any more questions we can ask, you can go ahead, please. Ms. Dorcas, do you have any question?
big font here to do a very small font. No, so
Okay, it seems that we are still having some network issues from her. So I think we've gotten some things that we can start with.
sorry.
Hello, Ms. Vic, are you back? Okay, she's back.
Yes, I'm back. Thank you.
Okay. So were you rounding up, at least for today, because it's possible that
Yes,
we are submitting tomorrow, so there's a lot to do.
submitting
Anyways.
tomorrow.
Is it not? It's tomorrow now.
Is it tomorrow?
I think
Or
tomorrow is the last day.
17th? Tomorrow
Okay,
is the last day.
I have to check.
Let me check. Let me check the board. If it is one day left, right? Oh Lord, God help us.
Are you checking now?
Yes, I am.
So please, can somebody write down the? Okay, we'll add you to the group so you can help us write these websites that you put, because I'm finding it difficult to copy it. And
So just say, would you mind adding me to your group?
yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll definitely do that.
Okay. All right.
So that's awesome. Ms. Vic, thanks so much. Oh. Really appreciate.
Yeah, well,
You've done a wonderful job, and you've made us feel absolutely terrible that we're not as good as you. So congratulations with that.
What the hell, man?
Yes, now
No,
I
come
feel
on.
see my ego has been bruised, so I don't know what to do right now. My ego has,
Nothing like that.
I mean, whose ego is still normal here?
Please don't feel bruised, I beg. It's a growing process for everybody.
Well,
So we
it's
have
good
3 days from now to submit your task. So please
Okay,
don't give
that's
me
awesome.
fear. I've not finished my own. I've not finished my task.
No wala, no wala. We'll meet up. We'll meet up. So thanks
Yeah.
so much. Our time is 1 more minute. So we'll add it to the group, and it's so nice to meet someone as skilled as you, and we're going to gum you now, so we can
Yeah.
when we wanted to be excellent in academics, we used to gum the smartest person in the class. So we're going to gum you.
Oh, Allah. And
All right,
Loretta, I really look forward to meeting more with Loretta as well. Hopefully in
yeah,
the group.
Loretta is our black Weibo. All right. So everyone have a good night. Thank you so much. If we have another class tomorrow, we'll definitely invite Ms. Vic again. That's if she's not too busy, or Mr. Bolu will be here, or any other person that wants to share with us. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
You too.
All right.
Bye.